Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about how I was able to lease out a Sola salon. I also have my baby here with me, Chico. So if you see his head pop up a couple times, that's him. Anyways, I'm going to explain to you guys the whole process on how I ended up leasing out a Sola salon. It actually kind of happened by accident, but within like 2 years. I officially got my cosmetology license about 2 years ago in February. I do highly recommend that when you're in school for esthetician school, cosmetology school, or nail school, that you do try to build your clientele while you're in school. That is kind of controversial because technically you're not supposed to take on clients without a license, right? A board of license, because then can people sue you and then you just get into this big thing. Even if you have to do free work, low prices, that really helped me out. I definitely just word of mouth. I was on Instagram first. I didn't really know how to advertise and market at that point. So I was just posting on my story, message me, you know, low prices, whatever. I got a couple people in. Unfortunately though, when I did start to take clients, it was during COVID time. So I did have to take a break, but this is where the whole mobile services started for me. During COVID, a lot of shops were closed. I did do it for maybe, I think it was like the first 2 months of COVID, because you kind of weren't really speculating how drastic the whole pandemic was going to become. I was like, okay, I don't feel comfortable taking clients at my home, so I'm going to become mobile. So I ended up buying a travel, it was like a nail table setup that I looked up on Amazon. It was around like $350. So when you're building your business, it's going to require a lot of investment. A lot of people don't come from money. I don't come from money. So I ended up saving my money from Starbucks. So my last 9-to-5 job was Starbucks. I saved up all the money I could. Luckily, again, another thing that was in my favor was I live with my parents. So they knew that I was trying to build this business up. During Christmas time, my parents gifted me, you know, my first e-file that was Melody Susie brand off of Amazon, which actually was pretty great. It was around $50, not too bad, and it worked out pretty great. So I recommend the Melody Susie brand if you're starting off with that. And, you know, just sanding bands and things like that. I used it to be a secret when I first started as well. So yeah, so I was able to gather up all my beginner supplies, and then I saved up money from Starbucks to buy it was a travel nail setup that I have some videos on my channel about. I would just go to people's houses basically and do their nails. But that actually really did help me build the few clientels that I did have. So I ended up having maybe 10 stable clients, right? Maybe, which is not enough. Obviously, it's like close to 1 client a day. And so I didn't feel comfortable enough renting out a Sola yet. And I just really needed to find out how much the lease was, right? I expected it to be something extremely crazy. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to afford this ever. It just seemed out of my reach. So I kind of gave up on the idea. And then I ended up looking up some local salons in my city. I ended up finding one that was like a smaller business, and she was starting up her own salon. So she had nail tables to lease out. She had beds for lashes and chairs for hairdressers. I think she said that she wasn't sure how many tables she was going to add just yet, but she would add one for me. The rent for that was $175 a week. To me, that was still crazy because I hadn't been in the industry yet. I had never paid one bill of rent. Well, I do have, you know, my phone bill and my car insurance and stuff that I do pay my dad, but the whole $175 a week was like, whoa, okay, well, this is where it's gonna start, right? So I didn't feel too comfortable just jumping just yet. So then I ended up noticing that I was getting a little bit more busy with my mobile nail clients and stuff the more frequent I became, where I started leaving some days at Starbucks, because it's going to get to the point where your 9-to-5 is going to get in the way of your dream job. Point where you're like, okay, well, do I stop doing what I love doing, or do I give up some days at my 9-to-5? So I ended up giving up some days at Starbucks. I ended up, I think, going down to 2 days a week for maybe 2 months, and then I was like, all right, I'm kind of go over this, and then I switched to like maybe 1 day a week for another month, and then I was like, okay, at this point, just right, I'm making more money doing nails than I am at Starbucks. But I just felt like I was super scared because that check, my every 2 weeks check, was promised at Starbucks, and nails wasn't. Like, you know what though? You have to take the leap of faith, and I think that's the hardest part about starting your own business, is taking that leap of faith and being like, you know what, putting this into the universe. What's the worst thing that can happen? I end up back at Starbucks. Like, I end up to where I was originally. So I ended up quitting Starbucks, and then I moved to that salon. It was my first salon, which I posted a video on too, and I kicked up my marketing for sure. So you don't want to end up not having money to pay your rent, right? So you do everything possible to get the money. So I was posting. This is where I found out about groups on Facebook. So like groups, like city groups. There's like city groups that people will talk about. It's like the Ring app or whatever, but like for Facebook. So I ended up getting on like my local groups, and I just ended up being like, hey, looking for a nail tech. Here's my work. Something that really does help me out and is I'll put, I'll comment under the person's post, because a lot of people will be like, hey, looking for a nail tech that's not at a shop, a private nail tech, whatever. So I'll be like, hey, I do nails. Here's my Instagram. I don't link it, but I'll write my Instagram username, and then underneath I'll tag maybe 2 pictures in the comments of my best work. And that has taken me really, really far. That's basically where majority of my clients come from. And then Instagram hashtags also helps out. Those are the 2 main sources for me to get clientele. But Instagram and Facebook really help me out. So Instagram, I'll post my picture, and then I'll put a bunch of hashtags of your 5 like local near cities, your city, and then the 5 other cities around you. People will look up nail techs in your city, and then you'll pop up. So that also helped me out. I was able to rent out my first booth, and that lasted for about 3 months until I just wanted to change something more that felt like in my environment. I don't know, like the girls there were sweet and everything. I don't know. I just felt like I wanted something different. So I ended up again going on Instagram, looking at about local, salons and everything. And I ended up finding one person who it was a blow dry bar. So people would, come in, get a blow dry, whatever. But she was looking for a nail tech because her clientele would ask, like, you should get a nail tech in here. He gave me a super, super, super good rent price. He was going to give it to me for $200, the room and the nail booth. So that was a really, really good price, $200 a week. And so, yeah. And so I ended up staying there for about a month and a half. That was really, really cut short. Unfortunately, she had to shut down her salon because all her hairdressers were moving to Solas. People just want to be in their own suites nowadays. Yeah, unfortunately, she had to shut down the salon. I was pretty sad about it because I really liked the people I worked with, and the salon environment was like my vibe. I had to pack up my things after a short month and a half. I had literally just set up my entire like microblade room, and she told me the news. So luckily though, she's an angel, and she told me that she wasn't going to let me down. She felt bad that I had just moved everything in there. So this is where connections comes in, right? So she knew one of the Sola management teams for my city. She was able to contact her and be like, hey, my nail girl here needs somewhere to go. She needs to move out in like a month. And this was before the hectic season. So October is, if you're in the industry, October through around February are the heaviest seasons for nails, right? Because of the holidays. And so I was like, and this was in August of last year. So really wanted to find something immediately because I knew October is when the money comes in, right? So how am I not going to have a booth by then? So I started doing my research, and I was even looking at other options instead of a Sola, because she ended up contacting me, the management girl, and she told me that they were going to have a room. They just didn't know when. Sometime at the end of September. I was just trying to move in maybe the beginning of September so that I could, be settled in before October. That time though, there was another Sola. It's called Salon Republic. They're not that popular right now, but I think they're up and coming. They're very similar to Sola Salon. So they were opening up a new one in my town. I was like, well, this is gonna be my last option, the Salon Republic. I actually was able to contact them and get prices on their rooms. Salon Republic, if I remember, the 120 square foot standard room, which is the room I have right now at a Sola, the Salon Republic one was gonna cost me around, I think it was $290 a week. And then I got in contact with the Sola girl, and she told me that my standard size room would be, what am I paying right now? It's a 120 square foot room for $260 a week. So prices can vary also though. Different cities, different states. If you have a room with a window, that also changes the pricing of a Sola. My Sola, I didn't want a window because, originally I did want a window because I like plants, but I ended up thinking about my nail product, and nail product cures in the UV light. Even if it's just windows, if your bottle is in like sunlight, it's gonna cure. And I know this because I was mobile one time working outside and my stuff cured. I didn't want a window, so the room without a window is $260 a week. And again, I'm paying $200 at the other salon that I'm coming from, right? So I was like, $60, I can do that. Everything just worked out perfectly because it was an increment of prices as I went on to my different salon experiences. I started off at $175, $200, and then $260. So the climb wasn't too scary for me because I kind of got a grasp of what I was able to afford. Once I found out that the Sola was $260, I was like, I can do that. I was shocked. I was like, I can do that? Wow. Luckily, the management girl got back to me and she told me that someone had actually moved out. I was able to take her rooms, like literally within a week. I think after leaving my other salon, I was at home for a week, and then I started moving into the Sola that I'm in right now. So everything totally just worked out in my favor, and I'm super, super grateful for it. But I know that not everyone has those type of opportunities. So my biggest thing that I would recommend you to do is to go on Instagram and look up your city Solas around your city. Go to the Sola page. Most of them have Instagram pages, and then message, usually on their bio they'll have information, management person's phone number and email. Call them, email them, spam them, get their attention, and that you're interested in renting out a suite. Prices for suites, if I can remember properly, the standard size room, which is a 120 square foot room, is the one that I'm in, $260 a week. Again, I'm talking about California, SoCal, right? Southern California, in the Inland Empire. I'm paying $260 a week for a standard size 120 square foot room. I know that so this is called the small room, and then there's a medium room, which are maybe two of the standard rooms put together. And then that one is around, I think it was like middle of 300s, if I remember correctly, for a medium-sized room a week, $350 a week. And then the large room, which I believe is maybe 2 standard-sized rooms and a half, or maybe 3 standard-sized rooms, I think they're pretty big. That one's like $550 a week, around there. So the prices are pretty steep once you start moving into the medium and large size rooms. Usually people do share those. You know, a medium size room, you can probably fit 2 nail techs or 2 hairdressers, and then the large, maybe 3 people in there. Standard, I've even heard some people sharing a standard room, but these are kind of tight, so I don't know. If you can work out a situation where you're sharing the room, even better, right? That's honestly what I started off. And then the things that you're needing to get into the Sola, once you get in contact with them and everything, they're gonna ask you for your business license, how to get that. You just go to your city website and then look up business license. And then you also need to be licensed in the board. So either, cosmetology license, esthetician license, or nail tech license. So you do have to have those 2. And then you also have to have a business insurance. I use this insurance, I forgot what it's called. I made a TikTok on this the other day, but you have to have a business insurance. And honestly, it sounds extremely scary. It's not tedious. You literally just find the business license, the business insurance that you want to work with, and then you go to their website and you pay like for a year. It sounds sketchy, honestly, but everyone else does it. It seems to work, I think. I don't know. Hopefully we don't ever have to go to that extent where I'm gonna be sued or anything. Pretty sure that is all that is required. It's just your business license, your board license, and then your business insurance. Just move in and then you start paying your weekly rent. It's been a great journey. This has definitely been my favorite location that I've been at. And then I could use this room for literally anything. I use it for my studio to film, and then I also use it for work. So yeah, it's been a really big blessing, and honestly, I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was, and it really wasn't. So if I am able to do it, I know everyone says this, but if I am able to do this, you are able to do this, trust me. I don't come from money, guys. It took a lot of saving from my 9-to-5 job and just faith. That's literally what it took, was faith. If you guys have any more questions, if I missed anything, let me know down in the comments, and I'm happy to answer any questions on starting off my own business, because this has definitely been the biggest blessing of my entire life. I'm 23 with my own business, and it's honestly, it feels like such a big accomplishment. And sometimes I'll sit here and I'm like, I can't even process it. I'm like, this isn't happening. Like, what, I want to help as many people as I possibly can to get to where I am right now. And that's honestly the biggest reason why I'm trying to build my platforms and everything. It's not even for my own, obviously money is great, right? But it's just to help people out, because I know not everyone has the help. I didn't come from a family of business. This is my first time with everything. I had to figure everything out like by myself. And if I can help at least one other person, that's enough. I hope to, be able to reach to a point where I'm able to help out millions of people. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and taking the time to watch the video. I really do appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who has been supporting and watching my videos. I know that subscribing count and everything shouldn't matter, but sometimes when you see that number grow, it feels like it gives me more. I think my camera has been falling, I feel like, this entire video, so I am so sorry if my camera's just been slowly falling down. I need to work on my setup. I feel like sometimes seeing that my subscribe count grow, I'm like, okay, people are actually interested in my videos, because sometimes when you do have like no views or like low subscription count, it's like, why am I'm talking to myself, on my channel. But this is truly fun for me, so I don't really care. So yeah, anyways, thank you again so much for watching. If you guys have any other questions on anything, on any videos that you needed help on or anything, even if it's a question that's, you know, maybe meant to be answered more quickly. I am on TikTok now, so more consistent on there, so I can do a little TikTok for you guys. See you guys again, and till next time.